Good evening, Guardians, and welcome back to Short Pause Presents Tower Talk. I'm Ben. On the other side of the microphone, that's Brent. We're here on behalf of Short Pause. www.shortpause.com is the website. Follow us on Twitter at the Short Pause. Brent, your and I Twitter handles are right underneath our pictures here. If anybody wants to follow us for some strange reason, but they're down there if you so choose. So this is our Destiny-focused video discussion series where Brent, you and I come out here and talk any and everything in the world of Destiny. And man, over the last 6 months, we've had a lot to talk about in the world of Destiny. So this week will be no exception. We got a lot of stuff to discuss. How you feeling, man?
Well, how am I feeling, boys? Well, let's see. We streamed for 4.5 hours last night. I didn't go to bed till 3 a.m. So I'll let you decide how I'm feeling. I'll let you guess.
It sounds like you're feeling great, man.
Yeah, I'm awesome. I just drank a bunch of coffee just so I could do Tower Talk and then try to go to sleep with a bunch of caffeine in my system. So we might as well do it again tonight. No, I'm doing good, man. It was we jumped into Solstice of Eros yesterday. We got to play through the 5 missions. We got to try out a couple different other things, but no, it was a lot of fun last night. Really excited about Solstice of Eros being live. We have a month to knock this stuff out.
Yeah, it's almost surreal that Solstice of Eros is now here, and we're just a touch over a month away from the launch of Destiny 2 Forsaken. It's coming up quick, man. And there's lots to do with Moments of Triumph and Solstice of Heroes and everything else that's in the game right now, or that's been released since Warmind. Still endeavoring to get the Whisper at some point. That mission kicked our ass last weekend. It was man, that thing's tough, man. But we're gonna persevere. We're gonna get in there. We're gonna get that damn thing sooner rather than later. But Brent, let's talk Solstice of Heroes, dude. So Solstice of Heroes live right now. Started on Tuesday, July 31st. Runs until August 28th when the getting ready for Forsaken update comes out a week prior to the release of Forsaken. So for the next month, you and I will be trudging through Solstice of Heroes, seeing what we can secure in terms of this new armor and complete these Moments of Triumph and everything else that's going on with the event. So what do you think of it so far, man? What's your thoughts on what we've seen with the Redux missions and everything else that goes into this thing?
I've liked what I've seen so far. The Redux missions were really fun. They were they were challenging solo, but Dark Shadow, and myself, we kind of just blowed right through them all last night. So it wasn't too challenging, and that's something that you and I've always talked about when we get. Obviously this is just missions that have been redone for Solstice of Heroes, but they're missions nonetheless. And apparently these missions will never be scaled for 3 people because we just went through them rather quickly. However, it's really cool to be able to go back and play these iconic missions with tweaks to them, and they play out much differently than what we're used to. So in essence, you're almost kind of getting a new mission, and that's really cool to be able to go through that grind away and knock out those things because they are tied to the armor pieces, the Solstice armor. The first phase of unlocking the next level is completing all the missions amongst other objectives for each piece of armor. And that's the other thing I really like about this right now is the armor grind. There is a grind behind this armor to get it ranked up, and that's something that you and I are going to be doing for the next 3 or 4 weeks as Solstice of Heroes runs its course.
Yeah, definitely. So, of course, Solstice, the only way to get 400 level power armor to take on your exploits throughout the world of Destiny. So we definitely want to get some of that, man. Get our light level ranked up as high as we can go before Forsaken arrives. So the Redux missions are cool. Like you said, they add a brand new twist to missions that we know and love, and they basically selected the 5 most iconic missions from the game. Mm-hmm. So from Homecoming, the first mission in the game, to the battle with Gaul at the end of the game, and everything in between in terms of the most iconic stuff like that. Mission aboard the Almighty, the Spark mission where you first get your light back, the mission with the tank and the Cabal base. Like these are iconic missions from the game. They went back, redid them, added some things that you wouldn't be expecting if you had played through them previously. And it was a nice little intro to the event for us to get in there and re-experience some of the stuff. I'll tell you, man, I was talking to you about this, but there's been a lot of failures for us in the end game of Destiny 2. whether it's raids, the Whisper, or the Crucible, or whatever, any number of things that we've tried and failed on. For myself personally, Escalation Protocol, but there's lots of things we've yet to accomplish. So So I would have loved to have had those missions be more be more challenging, and that's something that we always talk about
Mm-hmm.
with the story missions in Destiny 2. Obviously, the heroic story missions are coming back with Forsaken, so that's cool to see that coming back into the fold. But I don't know, it was almost kind of nice to be able to go in, tackle a mission, and actually complete it.
Mm-hmm.
See the mission complete at the end of it, which is been increasingly tougher to come by. Seems like lately as we try some of these higher level activities. So yeah, the missions are cool. So what do you think about everything else like surrounding the event right now? So we've got the obviously the moments of triumph bounties. We've
Mm-hmm.
got different pursuits and quests tied to each of these pieces of armor that we have to do outside of these missions in order to level them up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like the way this is all set up?
Yeah, I do, because a lot of these things are all interchangeable. The bounties and the armor pieces, the stuff you can be doing there, a lot of the stuff you can do in the bounties. Like there's a couple where you have to earn arc orbs in strike missions. So in essence, you're going to go in there with these bounties, knock those out, because bounties are a part of Moments of Triumph. You have to do 25 of them. So everything is interchangeable, and everything is working together. So that just makes the grind more rewarding when you're going in there and you're like, okay, look, I got to do this, but I can also knock this out and this all at the same time. It just, that sense of accomplishment, being able to go in there and knock everything out, that's very, very rewarding. And it's just going to keep us busy because, dude, there's like there's four layers to this armor.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're sitting there grinding last time. Yeah, it's going to take us a while. We're just at the green stage. We got blue coming up, a legendary after that. So we're going to be very, very busy, and I'm cool with that because that's what we want, man. We want stuff to grind every night. Like, this is the first time in a while where, we do our Wednesday stream, but then I'm just like, man, I hope maybe I can squeeze one in Thursday night so I can work on this armor. I'm off next week, so I know I'm going to go really hard with it then. But it's just, there's a lot to do, man. There's a lot to get done before August 28th.
Yeah, I mean, ever since Warmind, man, there's just been a lot to do in this game, and we've been constantly playing this game for the past month or so, or however long. I guess 2 months now since Warmind came out. So, Solstice of Eros just adds a whole nother layer to that. And like you mentioned, we're still in the first stages. We don't know what's going to come in the blue stage, or the legendary stage, or the masterwork stage. So we've got a lot to come in the future here as we go through this event. So looking forward to having that like carrot dangling over us. Speaking of those orbs, Brent, too, there's an interesting kind of breakdown in this week at Bungie about these orbs, and you don't really realize this when you jump into Solstice of Heroes, like how the orbs work or how any of this stuff like actually functions. But there's a couple tips for everybody in terms of generating orbs. So, like you mentioned, the orbs this is something that's unique to the Solstice events. This is something that's only going to be a part of this event while it's going on for the next month. And, it adds like buffs to your characters, and it does things for your armor as well. So it's a neat idea, and this is kind of the basis of it. So while these orbs are generated, this is from the Bungie blog, orbs are generated randomly by defeating enemies. Here are like the tips in order to get the type of orb that you're looking for. So orbs are generated only by players who have an entire Solstice armor set equipped. So we learned that last night, that you have to have the Solstice armor equipped in order to generate the orbs. Elemental orb generation does not require super ability kills or masterwork weapon kills. So you simply generate these orbs if you meet the appropriate criteria. Elemental orbs are generated based off of the player's equipped subclass, as well as their equipped energy and power weapons. If, for example, you want to generate only solar orbs, and this is something I didn't even think about, but if you want to generate only solar orbs, changing your loadout to all solar helps you accomplish this.
Yep.
Kinetic weapons also generate orbs based off of the player's loadout. So if you are at a portion of the mission or a portion of the armor that you're trying to upgrade that requires only solar orbs, if I go in there with my solar subclass, have a solar energy weapon and a solar power weapon, like I'm just gonna simply drop solar orbs, and I'm gonna level up that part faster. And they talk about being able to strategize this together with your fire team. So just imagine if we went into a mission and one of us is all void, one of us is all arc, one of us is all solar, and we're just sitting there generating all all of three elements throughout the entire mission. So you can do stuff like that, which is interesting. And of course, you can generate and receive elemental orbs from local allies. So we just talked about coordinating attacks and whatnot.
Mhm.
So yeah, those are some tips on how to get the orbs. And like I said, I didn't really realize that stuff last night. And I know we talked about it a little bit in terms of the best strategies for generating orbs and whatnot. But this kind of breaks it all down. And then these orbs provide elemental buffs to your character as you collect them. They have like a damage modifier that stacks as you collect these orbs. And I believe as you continue to level up the Solstice armor, these orbs have an even bigger impact based on the subclass that you're wearing and when you're rocking that armor.
Mhm.
So what's your thoughts on the orb system, Brent? You like this part of the event?
Yeah, I do, because like I said, it's going to force you to try out different classes and maybe classes you're not too keen on, like Arc Strider. But no, I think that's really cool. And like I said, it gives you some variety to what you're doing. And I like how some of these orbs are tied to specific events. I mean, sometimes it just says collect arc orbs. So you're like, okay, cool, arc orbs. But sometimes it say collect arc orbs in strike missions. Then, like you said, coordinating with your team, saying, hey, look, I'll bring an all solar class, you bring an all arc class, and you bring an all void class. We can kind of help each other out by just producing one element type per person. So adds to the grind.
Yeah. I think the bottom line is we got more stuff to do.
Yep.
We got cool rewards at the end of this with the 400 level power armor. Of course, we got the moments of triumph in there as well. So there's some neat rewards that are associated with that everybody wants to get their hands on. So there's a lot to do, a lot to keep us busy. This is kind of like a perfectly timed event to tide us over from the end of Destiny 2 into the beginning of Forsaken in year 2 of Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's one of the cool things about these moments of triumph and these kind of events. They celebrate your accomplishments over the course of the year in this game and in terms of when it takes place. So that was always how Moments of Triumph worked in Destiny 1. That's how it's working now in Destiny 2. And I dig that, kind of celebrating the game up to this point and getting ready for what the future holds. So we'll be, like I said, needless to say, we'll be spending a lot of time in Destiny 2 as we always do, but maybe even more so now with Solstice of Eros trying to get this stuff knocked out. Anything else stand out to you about this event, Brent, or anything else you want to mention?
Not at this time, because like I said, we're still pretty early in the process. We've knocked out the Redux mission, so I mean, we pretty much gleaned what we can from that. I mean, they're just new versions of missions that we really enjoy, so that part's really cool. I think the more we dive into, like, when we see what the requirements are for the next set of armor and the one after that, then I think we'll have more to talk about, because we're going to figure out just how difficult it is to unlock that 400 weapon or that 400 gear. However, there were some people on Twitter that were only put about 11 hours in, and they had everything masterwork, so it might not be too much of a grind if we work together, you, me, Dark Shadow, Wolf, Frankie. We get in there and we coordinate what we're wearing and we work together. We should be able to knock out this stuff relatively quick. Quick shout out to the guys in the chat. JD's in there. Jacob was in there shortly. Last Word is in there tonight. Last Word, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in last night for the 4.5 hour epic stream. I apologize for Boyce's language in the last hour. I don't know what was going on with him, but
yeah, it's crazy.
But no, yeah, dude, I'm really excited. We'll have more to talk about this next week as we kind of delve deeper into Solstice of Heroes. But early impressions, we got a lot to do, man, and that's all we want.
Yeah, and I haven't read anything about what this event exactly entails after this. So
right.
When we get to this next set of armor, like, I don't know what the requirements are going to be. I imagine we're going to go back and probably experience these Redux missions again. Maybe they get harder. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how this all works. But yeah, looking forward to seeing like what the next layers and what the next levels bring for this event. So exciting times, man.
Indeed.
Let's move on from Solstice of Heroes now, Brent, and let's talk some Destiny 2 Forsaken Legendary Edition. So this kind of snuck up on us. I mean, I don't think anybody saw this coming.
No.
You know what I mean?
Nope.
I mean, never in the history of Destiny has Bungie ever collected the expansions into one package and offered it for sale at a discount to curious players. So this is a bold new world that we're stepping into here with the Destiny 2 Legendary Collection.
I thought for sure we were gonna have to pay $160 to get everything, dude.
Yeah, I mean, clearly you just have to shell out hand over fist in order to really enjoy this game. So of course we're being facetious here, but the Destiny 2 Legendary Collection has been announced, and of course, Brent, this includes the entirety of the Destiny saga, including Forsaken. So that's Destiny 2, Curse of Osiris, Warmind, and Forsaken, all in one package for $59.99, which is a damn good deal if you ask me. At this point, when you pick up that collection, dude, if you haven't played Destiny 2 up to this point, or if you're curious, you want to hop in with your friends, there's so much content in that $59.99 package. I mean, that's hundreds and hundreds of hours of gameplay and content that's waiting there for you when you pick up the Destiny 2 Forsaken, the Legendary Collection. So for $59.99, man, I think that's a no-brainer if you are looking to get into this game. The only thing that the Legendary Collection does not include is the Annual Pass. And strangely enough, the Annual Pass is $34.99. So if you want to purchase the Legendary Collection and the Annual Pass together, you can for $99.99.
Wow.
Well, that sounds like a good deal. But when you take into account the fact that the game's $59.99 and the Annual Pass is $34.99, look, I'm no mathematician, and you're certainly not.
No.
But 60 plus 35 is $95. Right?
Yes.
So in this scenario, for some reason, you're penalized $5 extra if you'd like to purchase this all in one fell swoop for $99.99.
Huh.
Which is strange.
That is very strange.
if you are listening to this and you're very interested in the entire Destiny 2 saga, buy the Legendary Collection for $59.99 and then buy the Annual Pass separately for $34.99. You will save $5 doing this. And that's what we do here, Brent. It's for the people.
We're for the people.
We're out here like helping everybody out. So, what's your thoughts on this collection, man? Is this a good deal, like I've been saying?
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is a great deal. I mean, you can get Destiny 2 right now for $10 out there, at most retailers at this point.
Sometimes even cheaper. Best Buy's had it for $6 on several occasions last month.
Yeah, and then you're gonna get the 2 expansions that are, a little polarizing to, kind of weak, but it's the Warmind actually delivered a lot more content, so Warmind is actually pretty good get here as well. But the fact that you're gonna get that plus Forsaken. It's for $59.99. That's a good deal, dude. That's a really good deal. You get the full package, everything for $60, and I think that's all people really wanted. They wanted a cheaper way to get into everything, and now you have it.
And the announcement of this game wasn't it. It was they also wanted to put a trailer because it seemingly every time Bungie opens their mouth now, there's a trailer associated with it, and which is cool because they make awesome trailers. So there was a trailer for the Destiny 2 Legendary Edition as well, and we actually got a couple sneak peeks at Uldren, the new and more badass Uldren, the villainous Uldren. We got to see some more from what is assumed to be Cade's final encounter with Uldren in the game. We saw little hints of this. Cade still being Cade, still making jokes to the very end, it looks like. And so we got little hints of that. And Uldren, man, Uldren looks pretty scary, man. Like he's clearly a much different Uldren than the one that we met in Destiny 1. So it really makes me look at this and start to wonder, like, is this the same Uldren? Is this simply, the results of everything he's experienced over the past few years with the Taken King and having his whole world fall apart and being marooned on Mars here with the Fallen? Is this simply a result of the circumstances of his environment, or is there something more ominous, more villainous at work here? Like this seems like quite an about face for the character. This is quite the turn, quite the 180 for Uldren. He was a prick before. He was an asshole in Destiny 1, and he played that role well. But now he's like full on. He just obviously he has this look now, like this soulless look. He's just like full on dark side now. And I don't know. It was interesting to kind of see a little bit of that in the trailer here. Were you thinking the same thing? Were you thinking like, man, this dude's really changed since we last saw him?
Yeah, like he looks sinister and stuff, but there was that moment just before he shoots Cade where he kind of closes his eye, like he's not sure if he wants. You know what I'm saying? Like it's if you see a bad guy who's about to kill somebody, you see them taking pleasure. They're enjoying watching it. But when he tells Cade, he's like, this is gonna hurt a lot, and then he kind of closes his eyes like he doesn't want to see it happen. I thought that was interesting. I thought it was kind of an interesting thing for him to do at that moment. But other than that, everything else, like you said, this is a completely different Prince Uldren. Obviously, he has a motive. There's something driving him. There's something that pissed him off. He's hanging out with all these big bad dudes. Something happened to Uldren, and he's not the same guy we saw in Destiny 1.
Yeah, and you say stuff like that, and maybe him closing his eyes and in the midst of Cade's final moments, like maybe that's a little hint that there's still a little bit of the Uldren that we remember inside of there. It makes me think even further that maybe this is not Uldren doing this of his own volition. Like maybe there's something more sinister at work in the background. We know there's something sinister at work in the background. We know as much, That's going to be part of the Dreaming City, part of finding out that aspect of the game. So there's something else behind the scenes with all of this. But yeah, it makes me think even more so that maybe he's possessed by the Taken or something like that is going on with Aldrin, making him do these things. But yeah, so it's cool to get a couple snippets here and there of what's going on with the story in the game, and obviously September 4th can't get here soon enough. We can actually play through this and see what it's all about. The other aspect of the Forsaken Edition, Brent, is there's actually a GameStop exclusive bundle that's going to be available for the game as well. And of course, it's $100. And of course, I think long and hard about buying this. I have the digital edition, which I'll have, but then there's this one, which has a pretty sweet Cade statue, which I really like. The box looks cool. You get I guess you get a special emblem. Obviously, the Legendary Collection is in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Frankie was telling me though that you can actually get the statue separately.
Yes.
For $50, it sounds like. So so that might be an option as well, or just go ahead, buy the collection, just sell off the legendary part. I'm sure you can get almost face value for it as soon as it comes out.
Right.
So I'm mulling that around in my head, but I like the way this looks, man. I would ask you if you're buying it, but I already know you're buying it. So it's even if you tell me flat out to my face right now, like, dude, I am not buying that. I bought the game digitally, and that's the one that I'm getting. I'm going to tell you you're a liar, and I'm going to move on with the show. So you're getting this, right?
Yes, I am picking this up. I want to get at that. And JD mentioned it in the chat. He said that statue is dope, and it really is. It's a great looking statue, and cool. It's like Cade at his finest. He's kind of showboating. He's got his hand cannon there. He's posing. That's very much Cade. That's the Cade we all know. So very, very cool. Very, very cool statue.
Yeah. Let's touch on some stuff from this week at Bungie now, Brent. So obviously the Bungie blog updated today, and there's some interesting stuff in here that I think bears further discussion.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, there's this really cool graphic they put up with the community highlights from Season 3 of Destiny, where they put up all these kind of crazy stats to show people, how Guardians are playing Destiny in terms of Season 3. So they showed us like how many people pledged to New Monarchy in terms of each of the classes, as well as Dead Orbit and Future Warcult. I thought that was interesting. Dead Orbit, 818,000 hunters pledged to Dead Orbit, which was the largest by a mile. Which is interesting too, because the hunter group basically was the Future Warcult. Like it had the hunter emblem and as part of that, but it's just that the pull of the Graviton Lance was too much.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody wanted to get in there and get that catalyst. So so there's interesting stats like that in there. The most warlocks pledged to Dead Orbit, and Titans, oddly enough, they pledged more so to New Monarchy than anything else. And New Monarchy, of course, had the Titan ornament, so I guess that makes sense. But Hunters and Warlocks are like, nah, we want that Graviton Lance. We're going Dead Orbit all the way. They show how many engrams are open. I mean, altogether, man, with faction rallies, roughly, 50, almost 70 million engrams opened over the course of the Season 3 faction rallies. Almost 6.4 million raid clears over the course of Season 3.
Wow, not even worse.
Yeah, and we're not one of those 6 million. 757,000 prestige raid clears, and I mean, over 1.6 billion kills on the Leviathan. We contributed a few of those, but
yeah, we helped in that regard.
We didn't get much further than that. 263 million public events completed, 77 million escalation protocol waves, 194,051 players have the Whisper or the Worm right now, Brent.
Wow.
We're also not in that group.
How about that Redrix Claymore number?
This is by far the most interesting stat, though. So the players with the Redrix's Claymore, Bungie said this at the beginning of the season. This is going to be a coveted weapon. It was going to be difficult to get. It was going to be a feather that you could put in your cap in Season 3. 8,750 players have Redrix's Claymore. Out of millions of Destiny 2 players, only 8,750 of them have Redrix's Claymore. Brent, I want this gun. I want us to make a concerted effort in the competitive playlist we can make headway in the competitive playlist. We have a skilled enough group of players where we can go into the competitive playlist with a 4-man team, and we can rack up wins, and we can rack up glory, and we can get this gun. It's simply down to us committing the time and effort to it, and we can be a part of this 8,750 that earned Redrix's Claymore. Brent, are you with me?
I'm with you, dude. You should be a head coach. That was a moving speech. That got me all fired up. No, yeah, we got to get in there.
Channeling my inner Bill Pullman.
Yeah.
Independence Day.
Yeah, that's what we got to do, man. We got to just set aside a couple nights, be like, hey, look, us four, we're going to go in there, we're going to whoop ass, and then we're going to come out at the end of the month before the reset to actually get Redrix's Claymore and feel like feel like kings, dude. I want to feel like a king. I want to feel like a badass.
Yeah, man. 8,000 players.
That's it.
8,000. That's
8,000 badasses out there.
That's
what that
like
means.
That's like the player base of Radical Heights. It's just like everybody has the Redrix's Claymore.
Ah, man, that was harsh.
It was too soon, probably. Yeah.
A little soon.
But and finally, in terms of these statistics, 807 million shaders have been deleted.
A lot of shaders have been destroyed.
And that number is going to ramp up considerably once Forsaken Rise bulk edit those things.
I bet you it triples. Honestly, I bet you it triples.
Oh, easily. I mean, just think of all of us that are sitting there with hundreds and hundreds of Atlantis Blue or Atlantis Wash. Yeah, Atlantis Wash just sitting there waiting to be deleted, or Crucible Glory, or what any of these ones that we just have hundreds and hundreds of.
The thing is, man, do you know how many? Do you know how many like things we're gonna be able to buy from tests now, though? Because a lot of that stuff is bright dust. And so a lot of those shaders are bright dust. So, I mean, you can sit there and just dismantle a whole group and just get a ton of bright dust to go buy stuff.
A lot of the shaders are bright dust. The ones that I have a lot of are glimmer or shards.
But here's the thing: you could go through, because all these shaders are going to be available to you once Forsaken drops. You can go in there and pick them up out of there. You might as well just burn them all up before Forsaken drops, even the ones that you really like, like the legendary ones, and get as much bright dust as you can, so you can just start buying stuff from test before that resets.
Dude, I've actually been doing that. Like the last reset, when she had those ornaments from the Dawning event that weren't supposed to be in there, I burned up a bunch of shaders and bought all of the ornaments that she had in her stock so that I could have those. So yeah, I'm already doing that. I've already burned almost all of my bright dust from shaders in there, so I don't have much left to go.
Ships, the ships do it,
ships.
And nice sparrows.
Ships are worth like 100.
Yeah. So you like destroy everything now, and then go buy whatever exotic emotes you don't have. Like, I'm gonna get the home run one that's in there right now, so I got to start burning stuff up.
Yeah, man. It's definitely a pro tip if you are at all interested. Anything in your inventory right now, because it's post-war mine, it should be there available for you once Forsaken arrives. Just keep in mind that if it dismantles into bright dust, it will cost bright dust to buy back in the future if you so choose. And vice versa with shards and all that kind of stuff. And glimmer. All right, moving on from there, Brent. Get these items while you can. So, Bungie has released a list of things that will be gone once Destiny 2 Forsaken arrives. So, as year one comes to a close, many of you are searching for every available item or piece of gear that can be found in Destiny 2. Some items will still be available in Season 4, such as destination weapons and armor sets, obviously. So things like, the exotic weapon quests, like those will be there for you. Other year one items will be retired from vendors when Destiny 2 Forsaken releases on September 4th. This is the kind of normal course of action with Destiny. So once a DLC comes out, the old stuff gets retired, the new stuff moves right in. Even more so with stuff like the Taken King or like Forsaken, when we're getting wholesale changes to the game that are basically just completely reinventing the kind of fundamental systems of the game. So all this stuff's got to change. So this is all the stuff that's going to be retired once Destiny 2 Forsaken releases. From the Vanguard, year one weapons, armor, and seasonal rewards. From the Crucible, year one weapons, armor, and seasonal rewards. From the Gunsmith, year one weapons, year one mods, which will no longer be obtainable, and year one emblems. From Ikora, year one armor and year one emblems. These are from the packages tied to meditations. Trials of the Nine, year one weapons, year one armor, year one shaders, year one ships, sparrows, and ghost shells. all going bye-bye. Same deal with Iron Banner. All of that stuff going bye-bye as well. And Cade's stashes, the year 1 emblems, will all be going away as well. So, like I said, Brent, all that makes sense. It's kind of the way that Destiny works. Interestingly enough, though, they dropped a little tease about year 2 for some of these weapons. So Bungie has this to say: while these year 1 items will be retired from vendors, their stock will be refreshed with new gear featuring random rolls. Hell yeah, ready for all players to earn in Destiny 2. Some items may return in year 2, but not exactly as you remember them. Come September 4th, a small number of weapons that you know and love will be updated to year 2 standards, featuring random rolls and the capacity to accept year 2 weapon modifications. And they put a little picture in the blog here, Brent, of everybody's favorite hand cannon, Better Devils.
Better Devils.
Better Devils, all but confirmed to have a year 2 variant coming our way. And I bet if we went through our armory and kind of picked out some of like the signature weapons from that, we can kind of, I think, guess what weapons would be in line for a year 2 version. Origin Story would probably be in line for a year 2 version. The Nameless Midnight would be in line for a year 2 version. How about the Antiope? That would be in line for a year 2 version. What would you want to see get a year 2 version, man, if you had your way?
Oh man, you know, the Kaibu. I would love to see the Kaibu get some love.
That'd be great.
But you know, the Kaibu is one I like really using a lot.
Positive Outlook.
I would go Uriel's Gift over Positive Outlook. Maybe even God, what's that one? The Telemachus D or Telemachus C that we got from Anna Bray. Would mind seeing that get some love. Or even the Braytech scout rifle, the other one. So there's quite a few weapons I'm gonna miss from season 1 if they don't make the transition, if they're not one of the select few that get to go to season 2 or year 2.
Yeah, I'm just thinking the Last Perdition, pulse rifle, curtain call, rocket launcher, Hawthorne's shotgun.
Oh man,
that's a popular one. So it would be nice to see that one get a year 2. Obviously, there's a ton of weapons in this game, but I just think the more and more we think about it, like we can kind of pick out the signature guns from Destiny 2 so far, and those would be the ones that would be in line. But basically, they've all but confirmed Better Devils by this picture right here. So Better Devils is a lock to get a year 2 version here. And one interesting note on this too, Brent, Bungie highlighted a website on this week at Bungie. They actually put together a whole separate post about this website. It was something that they wanted to highlight. And this website's sweet. I checked it out today. It's the first time I ever experienced it, and it's really, really cool. It's called DestinySets.com. And this is from the Bungie blog. As a final note, players who have obtained year 1 items can infuse them to higher power levels in year 2. If you're looking to finish your checklist, make sure to read this week's community focus on DestinySets.com. So like I said, there's an entire blog post dedicated to this website on Bungie.net. This fan-made website can be linked with your Bungie.net account to give a full list of items you have yet to acquire, helping you to finish off your year 1 collection before Forsaken releases. So it's very simple, Brent. You go to DestinySets.com. You link your Bungie.net account to this website. So whether that's via Battle.net, Xbox Live, or PlayStation Network, you link it on there. And as soon as you do that, you see the entirety of everything you've collected in Destiny 2 nice and organized for you according to different events, according to different sets. Everything's all nicely laid out. It's a slick interface. Like, it looks good when you're looking through it, and very easily you can pick out the stuff that you're missing, and then you can seek out if there's a way to obtain that stuff before Forsaken rolls around. I really, really like this website, man. It's one of the cool things that you can do with the Destiny API. That's why we get things like the Ishtar Collective, and we can do things like move our vault and manage our inventory on the apps, because you can access this, and there's a lot of cool fan stuff like this that takes this kind of stuff into account. I know you jumped on DestinySets.com as well, Brent. What was your take on it?
I loved it. I thought it was great. There were some items in there I was like, I didn't realize I didn't have them. There were some I realized I don't remember getting that weapon. But I do like how you look at it, and you look at it, and whatever you don't have, it's a full image, like it's a fully lit up image. And then if you do have the item, there's a green check, which means you have it with you. And then the blue check, I believe, means you've sharded it, you dismantled it, but it'll be available to you when Forsaken drops. You sharded it or you dismantled it after that war mine drops. So there's a lot. It's cool how it explains those things to you, and like you said, it kind of gives you an idea of what you need to do in order to attain those ones that you don't have yet.
Yeah, definitely. So if you have not yet checked out DestinySets.com, definitely get on there and check it out. Really, really cool site. If you're a Destiny nerd, like it's basically required reading at this point. So if they get on there and log in. All right, so moving on from there, Brent, we got to get prepared for Forsaken, man. And one of the things we're going to do to get prepared for Forsaken is we have a Year 2 combat reveal stream. It's coming up quick on us. It's coming up Tuesday, August 7th, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern. Bungie will take to Twitch once again and reveal basically a lot that we want to know about the combat system in Destiny 2. And this is a stream I've been looking forward to for a long time. We've been talking about a combat stream for a while. We want to see like how the new weapon slots are going to work, how this is all going to work out. So this, once again, from the Bungie blog, we know all this talk about new weapons and new mods has you wondering what combat will be like in the second year of Destiny 2. Rather than try to explain the new sandbox, we're going to show you. Tune in and watch as we configure our Guardians to play a specific role in the arena, catch a glimpse of the new user interface you'll employ to choose your weapon and modify it, spectate a battle between developers on a new Crucible map to debut in Season 4. There will be blood. Now, Brent, so this is the first time we've gotten a little mini breakdown of what this stream is going to entail. So once again, watch as we configure our Guardian to play a specific role in the arena. So this is something that the community has talked about more, more abilities to tweak your character for specific activities in the game to really like make a loadout that's specifically designed to tackle an area of the game, whether it's a raid or a strike or whatever it is that you're doing. Catch a glimpse of the new user interface you'll employ to choose your weapon and modify it. So right there, it sounds like we're going to see the new UI, how it works with the weapon system. Of course, we're going to see how weapons slot into these areas, and we're going to see mods. So all that seems to be encompassed in that sentence there. And then spectate a battle between developers on a new Crucible map to debut in Season 4. So we'll get our first glimpse at a brand new Crucible map, maybe even a new mode. We'll see which mode they're actually playing on the stream here. So Brent, your thoughts on what we're going to see on the stream here? Is this what we want to see? What of this sticks out to you?
Oh, I mean, obviously the weapon system. I mean, there's a lot of questions surrounding Forsaken that are going to be answered in this stream. Like you said, the weapon system, the mod system. We're going to see how you're going to set your character up with the whole new user interface. I mean, this is all new stuff. This is stuff that people have been very, very curious about, and we're going to get a lot of answers. And plus, we're going to see a new Crucible map, possibly a new mode, and it'll be a spectate version. That's going to be pretty cool, dude.
And as we talked about, what Bungie likes to do with these announcements, and when they talk about stuff, they like to put out a trailer, a mini trailer. And they did the same thing for the combat reveal stream. They put out a little 15-second trailer to go along with this, and this little thing got the community a little jazzed here because in this video, this 15-second video, we see a Guardian sliding along the ground with the Aikilo shotgun. An enemy comes up to him. This is presumably in the Crucible. Enemy comes up to him, another Guardian. Boom, one shot with Aikilos, the enemy's down. In the distance, another Guardian is running towards his character, so he switches out his shotgun, pulls out a hand cannon, which looks a lot like the Better Devils. We can assume it's the Better Devils, the Year 2 Better Devils probably. And then, 1, 2, 3. The Guardian proceeds to drop the Guardian approaching him with 3 shots. And, you know, the community manager at Bungie, DMG, he sent out a tweet, very, very kind of tongue-in-cheek. It was like, how many taps was that, or something along those lines? How many taps does it take is what he said. And so, of course, the community's like, oh, man, 3 shots, the Guardian's down. Is this the return of triple tap hand cannons? In Destiny 1, the Ias Luna, the Palindrome, guns of that sort ruled the roost in the Crucible. These were top tier weapons that everybody wanted to get their hands on. If you were a serious Crucible player, you had to have these hand cannons in your arsenal because they were dominant. And with Bungie making all of this talk and referencing the time to kill and how that's coming down and how all this is going to change. This is a clear example right here, Brent, of time to kill coming down and the return of triple tap hand cannons and something like the Better Devils, which everybody loves the feel of it and the way that gun is right now. if that gun's able to go into the Crucible and triple tap people, like this opens up a whole new wealth of possibilities, and it changes the meta considerably for the Crucible in Forsaken. What do you think about the return of triple tap hand cannons, man? I mean, this is basically a done deal, right?
I mean, yeah,
it's cut and dry.
I think we're past the point of like cryptic messages. I mean, it's pretty obvious. But dude, look, man, my go-to hand cannon has been Crimson for a long time. I love the Crimson, but if the Better Devils and an assortment of other hand cannons will have triple tap, I'm gonna dust off the Better Devils and bring her out of retirement, because that's badass, dude. But I mean, it's going to be, the time to kill is going to be reduced for a lot of weapons. It's not just gonna be hand cannons, but 3 shots. Precision shots from the hand cannon is going to start dropping fools again. That's awesome. That's what I want to do. I want some time to kill reduction, and the fact that triple tap's coming back. You're going to start seeing hand cannons outside of Crimson become very popular in PvP again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you said, this is part of a bigger overall pass over time to kill. There's going to be a lot of weapons that get time to kill reduction, and for all we know, this is probably a necessity to keep these hand cannons competitive with all these other guns dropping their time to kill. Like, they need to have triple tap back in the arsenal. So yeah, this is something a lot of the player base really excited about. That, the return of like these dominant palindrome Ias Luna style hand cannons coming back to the game, and like I said, with something like Better Devils, a weapon that feels great to shoot, that everybody loves, that's snappy, that's responsive. Like people want to use that gun in Destiny 2, and they're gonna have a chance to now in the Crucible with Forsaken. It seems like, there are some powerful hand cannons in the game, but they're a little bit unwieldy. Like the ones with high impact are very tough to control, and they're not fast enough, they're not snappy enough, they're not good enough to be competitive in the Crucible.
Right.
But if you take the Better Devils, you got a triple tap to it. Now we're talking.
Yeah, that's filthy.
So it's completely changes things. A couple of the things we want to mention about Forsaken here too, Brent. So in the run up to Forsaken, there's a couple things that we need to take note of. So this is from the Bungie blog. So this is after Solstice of Heroes concludes and August 28th hits. We have that week before Forsaken. There's some things we need to take into account. So in general, collections will be unavailable. So specifically, this includes the collections for emblems as well as exotic weapons and armor. If players want to have an emblem or exotic item in their inventory during the week, they will need to prepare their inventory ahead of time. While collections will be unavailable, items stored within the vault may continue to be accessed. So keep that in mind. Nightfall strike scoring will not be available. So this is interesting. I want to get your thoughts on this, Brent. So this is one of these things that they sneak into these blog posts that has me go, So they say Nightfall strike scoring will not be available. We'll have more information about strikes and how they're changing in Forsaken in the coming weeks. So my question to you, Brent, is we haven't talked about strikes at all with Forsaken. And once again, this goes back to the idea that Bungie literally changing there's no stone unturned with Forsaken. They're literally changing every single aspect of this game in some way, shape, or form. So are they changing Nightfalls again? Are they changing strikes again? Is the scoring system not going to be there? Are they tweaking this? Is this simply just going to be, hey, strikes are available on the world map? Like, we know that's going to be a thing. What do you think about this little nugget here, man? They kind of just snuck this in.
Yeah, when they say they're taking the Nightfall strike scoring out, like it won't be there, it won't be available. Like, I don't understand the point of that, or what it could be leading to. I mean, could the strike missions show up on the map? I hope so. But at the same time, it's just it's very difficult trying to figure out what the move is. Like, what's the end game to that move? Like, what are they trying to get it to? Because I mean, Nightfall scoring will not be available. You don't think they're going to change up the way Nightfalls play again, do you? I mean, I don't think
they might. That was my thought when I saw this. It's well, why else disable the scoring?
Hasn't the scoring been pretty popular though with the community?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they didn't like the timer, which pissed me off because I like the timer. And then I was like, okay, the Nightfall scoring is really cool. I dig this now, but there hasn't been nearly the uproar that we had when it was timed. But now that the night scoring won't be available, why would it not be available if it's just maintenance stuff? It doesn't make any sense. There has to be some kind of big change coming to Nightfalls.
That's the question. And of course, scoring could still be an aspect of it. Maybe they're just changing the way that they do the scoring system. Like you mentioned, this has been significantly more popular than the timer system that was originally a part of Nightfalls. But yeah, I just thought it was really interesting that they put this little nugget in here. And not only did they say that scoring won't be available, but then they tell us that we're going to learn about how strikes are changing. So that tells me something's changing. So whether it's they're not doing scoring, whether they are doing scoring, they're just doing it differently, whatever the case may be, something is changing with strikes, and we're going to learn about that over these next couple of weeks. So it's very, very interesting there. So this is all in an effort to set the table for the launch of Destiny 2 Forsaken on September 4th. Pardon our dust, and please plan accordingly. So that's something we need to keep in mind there, Brent. So if there's anything specifically that we need, I actually have all of my exotic weapons and armor. I haven't sharded any of those, so I don't have any need to get them from the collections bin. But I don't see me needing to go get an emblem or anything either. So I think we'll be safe on that. Just the interesting thing is the nightfall scoring that we'll have to keep an eye on. So continue now with this theme of Forsaken. So Bungie kind of ends the blog this week by giving us a little look towards the future. So as we look to the last mile before launch, setting expectations is the name of the game. We'll be serving up information on everything from character progression to endgame. Have any burning questions about what's changing in Forsaken? Let us know on the Destiny 2 forum. We can't answer every question individually, but we'll look to answer as many as we can in the next few blog entries. So just from right there, Brent, sounds like we can expect the next few blog entries to be pretty juicy and jam-packed with information as we lead up to the launch of Forsaken. You may have noticed a recurring theme throughout this article. Solstice of Eros is here, but it's just the beginning. Some of you have been very busy. We've already seen some masterwork armor sets in the wild. What do you think Bungie thinks when they see that? When they see people that, like, on day one have already masterworked the Solstice armor sets? Are they just like, man, that's crazy? Or at this point, they just expect that?
I think it's honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they're looking at this and kind of gauging, because obviously we're going to see more and more bounties. We've got weapon quests coming up. I wonder if they're looking at this going, okay, look, these dudes knocked this thing out in 11 hours. Clearly, maybe there's some balancing. We need to make it a little bit tougher, make it a little bit more grindy. Because in all honesty, I mean, I'm off next week, but I don't want stuff to be like just 11 hours. I mean, we want this stuff to be prolonged. We want this to be lengthy. So I can't help but wonder if they're looking at the way that the Solstice of Heroes is playing out and kind of gauging it and figuring out, okay, here's some tweaks we need to be making for when Forsaken drops. I bet you they're taking a lot of feedback from this that's going to be implemented into what we're going to be doing at the launch of Forsaken and beyond in terms of like some of these weapon quests and armor quests.
Yeah, no doubt. And I don't know, we spent, upwards of 4 hours playing the game last night, and we didn't even get off the first part of the armor. We're not even close to getting off the first part of the armor quest. So either we just missed the boat on like the secret strategies in order to level your armor up the fastest. And people do that. They go on the forums, they go out here in the world, and everybody's talking in the community about the fastest way to do this stuff, and everybody tries to come up with the fastest way, and then we end up with people that are done with this thing in 11 hours. But to those of us normal players that play this game normally, I feel like this is going to take us a while to get through this quest. So, of course, it remains to be seen what the other steps entail. But I don't see us finishing this anytime soon. People are already bragging about securing access to their trophy garment, which we will be doing once we get ours. Don't let that scare you, though. We're just 3 days into a month-long event. Feel free to show me your favorite emote if we happen to run into each other in the wild. I'll be grinding all 3 sets with my eyes on the final prize. That, of course, from DMG on the Bungie blog. So, Brent, just little hints. They continue to drop these little nuggets in, and kind of put the little carrot on the end of the stick and kind of drag us along through these blog posts and getting us excited about Forsaken. So I'm hyped, man, to see what comes out of the blog in the next few weeks. Obviously, I'm super excited about the combat stream. I can't wait to see that and see how the weapon system is going to change in Destiny 2 Forsaken. So we will have a lot to discuss next week, of course. If I was a betting man, I would bet that Tower Talk will be live on Tuesday night next week. So be on the lookout for that after the combat reveal stream. I would imagine we'll hop in here and have a lot to talk about. Before we wrap up the show, Brent, an interesting thing I wanted to throw out here. So earlier this week, we saw Tassie from Forbes, saw a couple people tweeting about this, but there's talk in the community right now that 3 of coins possibly contributes to being able to secure an exotic catalyst at a higher rate. So we know up to this point, exotic strike catalysts have been all but impossible to get for almost everybody in the community. But people started popping 3 of coins, and all of a sudden, oh, this guy's got a catalyst now. Oh, this guy says he got one when he popped a 3 of coins. This guy over here. So the prevailing theory, the prevailing conspiracy theory right now about the 3 of coins is that exotic catalysts are coded inside of the game as an exotic item, and of course, 3 of coins increase the chance that you get exotic items in the activities that you participate in, or increase the chance that you get an exotic engram. So as the catalysts just drop during activities that you do out in the world, the prevailing theory is that the 3 of coins enhances the ability for you to get one of these catalysts because of the way that exotic catalysts are coded in the game. What do you think about this, man? Is this real?
How much do 3 of coins cost again?
I think they're like 29 shards or something like that, 27 shards.
I'm going to piss away a ton of shards when Xur shows up tomorrow, because I'm going to load up on 3 of coins because I am tired of going through strikes and not getting these damn catalysts. So, yeah, and that's awesome because seriously, you know, as we saw people mentioning, nobody would think of this because nobody gives a crap about 3 of coins anymore. Nobody like grabs that stuff, especially this far along since Destiny 2 launched. Everyone's pretty much got all the exotics that they want, with the exception of maybe some ones that are tied to the raid. So I mean, the 3 of coins has just been sitting there like nobody cares about them. But man, if this proves to be a thing, you better believe Xur better have extras because they're going to get bought up real quick. Johnny, what's going on? Johnny's in the chat over on Twitch. But
what's up, Johnny?
Yeah, dude, this is if this is the case, dude, I'm buying a ton of 3 of coins because while I'm off next week, I'm just going to be popping those every 4 hours and just knocking those out because I want catalysts, dude.
Man, I feel like I'm gonna log into Destiny 2 next week, and I'm gonna look at your hours played and my hours played, and it's gonna show some ridiculous difference. You're gonna be like 50 hours ahead of me. I'm gonna be like, what in the hell have you been doing this week?
I'm grinding, dude.
This is absurd. So yeah. So I tried a 3 of coins last night. You know, obviously the buff lasts for 4 hours. We didn't have 4 hours after I popped it, even though we streamed for a long time. But we didn't get 4 hours worth of activities in with the 3 of coins. I did not secure a catalyst doing that, but I have another one in the inventory. I'll definitely pick up some more when Xur shows up, and I'm definitely interested in trying this theory and seeing if it works. So there's a lot of stuff in the Crucible, in the strikes. I haven't seen a single Crucible or strike catalyst drop at all.
And we played a lot, dude. We played those a lot.
We play this game a lot, and we have yet to see any of that stuff drop. So yeah, it's just one of those things, man. Like striking out with the catalyst, striking out with the Nightfall loot. Still haven't secured a piece of Nightfall loot either. So one day, man, one day maybe we'll get lucky enough and get this stuff to drop.
Fingers crossed.
But I digress, Brent. That is going to do it for this week's episode of Tower Talk. Of course, if you like the video, make sure you leave a like for us. Subscribe to the channel so you always get the content that we do. Hit the little bell as well so you know when Tower Talk goes live, you know when the podcast goes live, you know when the Indie Spotlight, the Destiny stream, and everything else we do goes live. And if you want to follow us, definitely make sure you hit that bell. Our Twitter handles are underneath our pictures here if you want to follow us, like I said, for some strange reason. The website is www.shortpause.com. Follow us on Twitter at the Short Pause. We'll be back next week talking more Destiny. Like I said, anticipate that on Tuesday night. I assume we'll want to tackle the Destiny 2 combat reveal stream, maybe either before or after the Tuesday night Indie Spotlight. So be on the lookout for that.
If my schedule allows it, I might actually do a live stream reaction to that event right here on all of our streaming channels on Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, and on Facebook. We'll have it streaming out. We'll do a live reaction as it's unfolding because there's going to be a lot of good stuff there. And if I'm home and I've got the time to do it, I will definitely do a live stream. So make sure you follow us on Twitter. We will send out a tweet when that's about to happen, if it does happen. But yeah, that's my plan, is to do a live reaction to that stream.
Nice. Yeah, so make sure you stay tuned into us on Tuesday. There's going to be a lot going on with Destiny, with Indie Spotlights, and everything that's going on. So, like I said, that is going to do it for us. No podcast this weekend. We'll be back next weekend with another podcast. It seems like we're going to have a lot to discuss. There's a lot going on in gaming right now. But for Brent, I'm Ben. Thanks to everybody who stopped by. Thanks to everybody who stopped by in the chat. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.